My name is Barry Goldson. I'm Professor Emeritus at the University of Liverpool. I have a keen interest in the critical analysis of the relations, interconnections, and sometimes the tensions between research, law, policy, and practice. And over the years, I've developed particular expertise in international and comparative youth justice regimes. Between 2010 and 2017, I was an appointed member of the panel of European youth researchers, an expert group established by the European Commission and the Council of Europe to advise on European youth policy and research. Between 2017 and 19, I was also an appointed member of the expert advisory group that guided and supported the United Nations global study on children deprived of liberty. And currently I'm the chair of both the British Society of Criminology, Youth Justice Network, and the European Society of Criminology Thematic Working Group on Juvenile Justice. At a general level, youth justice practice should be grounded unequivocally in knowledge and evidence, and it should also be compatible with the international human rights standards that the UK government has ratified, perhaps most significantly, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. As I demonstrated in the Academic Insights paper entitled International Human Rights Standards and Youth Justice, that was published by HM Inspectors of Probation in 2019 and is available on their website, there is a striking correspondence between the relevant provisions of international human rights standards and the knowledge/evidence base, and practice should be explicitly grounded and informed by both. At the front end of the system, or the shallow end if you will, the practice of diversion is absolutely key. And wherever possible, children and young people should be diverted from formal youth justice intervention. It is here that the concept of early intervention is commonly misunderstood. Whilst early intervention might be a laudable strategy to adopt in the realms of child health, education, social care, child well-being and poverty relief, etc., early intervention in the specific youth justice domain, especially when this might involve imposing criminal records, should be avoided as a default position in practice. Research and practice experience has demonstrated over many decades that premature and overzealous forms of youth justice intervention produce iatrogenic outcomes that fail to serve the needs and rights of children, or for that matter, the wider public interest. Turning to the opposite end of the system, the deep end, my third, and for present purposes, final recommendation is that the placement of children in penal detention should also be avoided. Again, both national and international research and practice experience has demonstrated time and time again that penal detention is costly, often harmful, and spectacularly ineffective as a means of reducing youth crime and obtaining community safety. Although decisions regarding the placement of children in penal detention ultimately rest with the courts, there is much that youth justice managers and practitioners can do to develop local policies, practices, and penal cultures that serve to minimise the prospects of children being detained. I've undertaken detailed research in this area, and my 2021 report, Making Youth Justice, Local Penal Cultures and Differential Outcomes, Lessons and Prospects of Policy and Practice, can be freely downloaded from the Howard League for Penal Reform website. So to recap, and underpinned by more than 40 years engagement with youth justice in one form or another, my three pieces of advice are: first, that practice should be grounded uncompromisingly in knowledge, evidence, and the provisions of international human rights standards. Second, that practitioners should divert children from formal youth justice system contact wherever that might be possible. And third, the practice should be directed towards developing ambitious and thorough community-based programs that aim to replace the prospect of penal detention.